Welcome to the Literary Batman. I'm Victor and I like Batman a lot, and I want to share that love with you. So today we're going to be talking about Batman White Knight by Sean Murphy. So let's go get it on our bat shelf. Stop me if you've heard this one before. The Batmobile pulls up to the gates of Arkham Asylum. A shrouded figure enters past the guards, assuring them that he knows his way around. His walk to the holding cells is quiet and purposeful. He stops to regard his prisoner, the Batman. Batman is chained up, sitting on a bench behind bars. His cold eyes reflect the rejection of the entire city as he gazes at our hero, Jack Napier, formerly the Joker. As Jack enters his cell, the Batman rises to full height, overshadowing his mortal enemy, and Jack says, "Batman, I need your help." Flashback to 1 year ago, and the Joker is fleeing the Bat family on what must be the fastest hoverboard ever. In this continuity, Batgirl has been Batman's main partner since Nightwing went solo. Batman is singular in his focus, doing whatever it takes to catch the Joker, be it flying across open drawbridges or driving the Batmobile over rooftops. When he nearly takes out a construction crew with a Batmobile, Batgirl implores him to think and stop putting others at risk. The chase leads Batman to a pharmaceutical warehouse, where Batman and Joker have one of the best interactions in all of comics. It ends with Batman telling Joker that he doesn't need him, and Joker saying, "The greatest villain in Gotham is you." All he needed were the pills surrounding them in the warehouse to change and prove he could beat Batman at any time, and prove how Batman really does need the Joker. Batman takes the bait and shoves dozens of pills down the Joker's throat, unaware that he's being filmed on a cell phone while the Gotham City Police Department and Commissioner Gordon just stand by. When the Joker awakens, he has normal skin and hair color and speaks with a confidence, declaring his love for Gotham to the police and promising to become its White Knight. In a very public trial, Joker claims he is Jack Napier, and through the corruption of the GCPD, he took the rap for worse than he actually did. For example, in this case, they were trying to put the blame for Batman's reckless endangerment of the public on him, while all he did was steal a scooter. Jack is acquitted and begins his campaign to clean up Gotham with a reformed Harley Quinn by his side. Joker donates his entire settlement to building a library in the low-income section of Gotham called Backport. After Batman chases Killer Croc and Bane to Backport, the construction site is destroyed, painting Batman in a much more negative light. Jack then comes forward with a secret fund called the Batman Devastation Fund that was set up like a natural disaster fund to clean up after Batman to the tune of $3 billion each year. Jack reveals how Batman sacrificed his library in Backport to protect the rich areas of Gotham. Since Batman doesn't answer to anyone, Jack compares him to a natural disaster that is borne by the tax dollars of the lower classes of the city. During a rally to elect Jack to the city council, Batman intervenes and tries to forcibly subdue him in front of the whole crowd. To dispel any further violence, Jack offers to go to the GCPD headquarters of his own will. While there, he outlines his plan to Commissioner Gordon. He wants to redistribute the Batman Devastation Fund to the GCPD. He wants to create the Gotham Terror Oppression Unit, or GTO, that would sufficiently arm the police to take on supercriminals. This force would also deputize current vigilantes who would answer to the GCPD. On the GTO's first mission, they are trying to take down a Neo-Joker who has risen to fill the role in Jack's absence. They get close to catching her when Batman shows up and ruins the operation. This is the last straw for Gordon, who immediately issues an APB on Batman. Now part of the GTO, Nightwing and Batgirl reluctantly agree to capture their mentor for the safety of the city. This operation is a success, with Jack taking Batman out in a fistfight in the rain. At this point, we are caught up with the opening of the story. Neo-Joker has been wreaking havoc on the city and is able to guess Jack's every move in advance. Jack is also slipping into the Joker persona as his pills lose their efficacy. His only way to win back control of the city is to do something Neo-Joker wouldn't expect, and partner with Batman to take her down. After dispatching the Neo Joker, Jack reverts back to his Joker persona for good and is reincarcerated. Batman has changed as well. He has realized that by sharing his technology with the GCPD, he could do more good for the city. He also acknowledges that he has become more vicious and has to change. The comic ends with him revealing his identity to Commissioner Gordon. Batman White Knight was released in 8 issues between October 2017 and May 2018. Originally meant to be a 7-issue run, another issue was added after the success of the first one. The graphic novel was released as the first under DC's Black Label imprint. The story was met with universal acclaim. This is clearly a labor of love for Sean Murphy, who both wrote and illustrated the book, with Matt Hollingsworth on colors and Todd Klein on lettering. Since Murphy wrote and drew the book, we get an unfettered view into his vision of Gotham. He may have written one of the most internally corrupt Gothams ever, with a vicious and violent Batman to patrol it. Even looking at the bat symbol on the uniform, you can see how blunt and obtuse he is. The lack of internal monologue turns Batman into an archetype of chaos, with the GCPD and Jack Napier on the other side as representatives of order. Personally, I encountered Sean Murphy through his masterwork Punk Rock Jesus, which is excellent and extremely relevant in this day and age. I also like that he is the most successful master of Batman that is closest to my age. He writes about interesting topics that haven't been explored before, like how does Batman continue to operate in an age of mass surveillance? How is he relevant in the age of Twitter? Who pays the real toll for his crusade? Is there a better option than Batman for Gotham City? This is also packed full of Batman villains. The entire Rogues Gallery is central to the story, and it even includes 2 Harley Quinns. Murphy's subtle changes to established lore make the story much more interesting, like how Nightwing is the second Robin, and the Joker didn't end up killing Jason Todd, but Jason pretended to be dead anyway, so he would never have to see Bruce Wayne again. Duke Thomas being a community leader in Backboard gives him a lot more agency than he's ever had in the main series. The inclusion of 2 Harleys explained the difference between the clownish sidekick of her early years and the violent punk of the modern era that we've seen in films and on the page. Murphy brilliantly integrated most established Batman lore in the story, even though his version of Batman is completely original. The biggest example is the Joker going by Jack Napier in his civilian identity, taken from the 1989 film. Also, all the Batmobiles from the 60s show to the Tumblr and beyond are on display through the book. When Jack wakes up from his beating in issue 1, his entire room is covered with Batman memorabilia, like a poster from the animated series, pictures and figures from the 1989 film, and multiple statuettes from different eras in his history, even a Lego Batman. The finale sees Neo Joker freezing Gotham with a freeze ray, not unlike the maligned 1997 film Batman and Robin. So did the Joker make his point? By going sane, he exposed the corruption of the government and classicism of Batman's actions. More importantly, he showed that a world without a supercriminal like the Joker does not negate Batman's violence or his brutality. Batman needs the Joker to justify his war, but in the climax, Batman's utility to the city is shown. Jack couldn't take down the Neo Joker with his GTO. He needed Batman to be able to get the job done. The status quo may be maintained at the end of the story, but Batman has fundamentally changed. He's realized that he liked hurting criminals, and he needed to change personally. He also decided to help the GCPD by outfitting them with his tech, and ended up giving up his greatest secret to Gordon. This story opened up a whole White Knight universe, where Sean Murphy is redefining classic Batman characters. This story is one of the few that I've had to reread as soon as I finish because it's the greatest fresh breath of air in Batman's 80-year history. Batman White Knight might be one of my favorite modern Batman stories. I give it 5 cowls. If you like what you heard, make sure to like and subscribe. And never forget, I'm Batman, you're Batman, we're Batman.